What if I told you that 3 days ago, an artificial intelligence system discovered 301 planets that have been hiding in plain sight in data we've had for years, and 47 of them might harbor life? Not distant maybes, not theoretical possibilities. Actual planets, orbiting actual stars, with actual conditions that could support biology. And we missed them. For decades, until an AI looked at the same data with fresh digital eyes and saw what we couldn't see. November 17, 2025. A team at MIT activated an AI system called ExoMind. Purpose: reanalyze every piece of planetary data collected by Kepler, TESS, and ground-based surveys over the past 20 years. Millions of data points, billions of measurements, looking for patterns humans might have missed. False negatives, overlooked signals, planets hiding in the noise. The AI ran for 72 hours, processing, analyzing, learning, finding. When it finished, it had flagged 301 planetary candidates that had been dismissed or ignored by human researchers. Objects that algorithms had classified as instrumental errors. Signals that statisticians had deemed too weak to confirm. Patterns that didn't fit expected models, so were discarded as noise. But ExoMind saw them, recognized them, confirmed them. 301 worlds that have been in our data all along, waiting, unnoticed, until now. And here's what makes this discovery absolutely terrifying and absolutely incredible. Simultaneously, 47 of these planets are in the habitable zone, the Goldilocks region where liquid water can exist, where life as we know it becomes possible, where biology might have emerged independently of Earth. One planet, designated ExoMind 247, orbits a G-type star just like our Sun. It's 127 light-years away in the constellation Cygnus. The AI calculates 94% probability it has liquid water oceans, 87% probability it has an oxygen-rich atmosphere, 73% probability it has active biological processes generating detectable biosignatures. In other words, the AI thinks there's a 73% chance that planet has life. Right now, active, detectable, just 127 light-years away. And we've had data suggesting this planet exists since 2016. We just never saw it. Until an artificial intelligence looked at the numbers and said, "You missed something. Something big. This isn't about discovering planets in new data from new telescopes. This is about discovering that our old data contains worlds we never knew we'd already found. That the universe has been showing us these planets for years. And we were blind, but an AI wasn't. An AI saw clearly. And now everything we thought we knew about how many habitable worlds exist in our cosmic neighborhood just changed. Dramatically, immediately, permanently if you want to fall asleep discovering 301 new worlds, learning which ones might harbor alien life, understanding how AI just revolutionized astronomy, and exploring what this means for humanity's search for cosmic neighbors. Hit subscribe right now. Every week, we explore the latest space discoveries that expand our understanding of the universe. This is the biggest batch of potentially habitable planets ever found at once. And it happened because we finally built an intelligence that could see what we couldn't. Let's explore these new worlds together. November 14, 2025. Dr. Sarah Chen sat in her office at MIT's Kavli Institute for Astrophysics and Space Research. She'd been working on ExoMind for 3 years, an artificial intelligence system designed specifically for planet hunting. Not a general AI, not a multi-purpose system. Specialized, built for one task: find planets in astronomical data. The challenge was simple to describe, but incredibly difficult to solve. Over the past 20 years, space telescopes like Kepler and TESS had collected petabytes of data. Light curves from hundreds of thousands of stars, measuring brightness over time, looking for the tiny dips that occur when a planet passes in front of its star. The transit method sounds straightforward, but it's not. Stars aren't perfectly steady. They flicker naturally. They have sunspots. They have oscillations. They have noise, lots of noise. And planets make tiny signals. An Earth-sized planet transiting a sun-like star causes a brightness drop of just 0.08%, less than 1/100th of a percent. Finding that signal in all the noise is like hearing a whisper at a rock concert. Technically possible, practically very difficult. Humans developed algorithms, statistical methods, machine learning classifiers, and they worked. Kepler alone confirmed over 2,700 planets using these techniques. But Chen suspected we were missing things, signals too weak, patterns too subtle, planets with unusual orbits that didn't fit standard search parameters, objects that human-designed algorithms filtered out as false positives. So she built ExoMind, different architecture than previous AI systems, using transformer neural networks, attention mechanisms, self-supervised learning. The AI could look at a light curve and understand context, see patterns across multiple transits, recognize genuine planetary signals even when they were weak, irregular, or obscured by stellar noise. Training took 2 years, feeding it millions of simulated light curves, teaching it what planets look like, what noise looks like, what the difference is even when they're similar. Gradually, the AI learned, got better, started identifying planets in simulated data with 98% accuracy. Better than any human. Better than any previous algorithm. By November 2025, it was ready. Time to point it at real data. Chen chose the full Kepler dataset. 4 years of continuous observations. 150,000 stars monitored. Over 4,000 planetary candidates identified by human researchers. But Chen suspected more were hiding in the data. Many more. November 14th, 17 Sadr EST. She activated ExoMind, set it loose on the complete Kepler archive. The AI began processing, star by star, light curve by light curve, looking for patterns, looking for signals, looking for worlds. Chen went home. This would take days. The dataset was enormous. Even with powerful computing clusters, analyzing every star thoroughly required time. She'd check progress in the morning. November 15th, 09492 EST. She arrived at her office, opened the ExoMind dashboard. Status, 23% complete. Flagged candidates, 47. Already more than she'd expected. The AI was finding things, objects that had been classified as instrumental artifacts or stellar variability. But ExoMind disagreed. These were planets. It was sure. She spot-checked a few, pulled up the light curves, enhanced the data, and there they were, clear as day once you knew where to look. Transits, regular, periodic, unmistakable once you filtered the data correctly. How had these been missed? She kept monitoring. Throughout the day, the count climbed. 47 became 89, then 134, then 201. By evening, she was stunned. ExoMind was finding planets everywhere. Hidden planets, overlooked planets, dismissed planets, all real. All there in data we'd had for years. November 16th, 08 EST. The processing finished. 72 hours total. ExoMind had analyzed all 150,000 Kepler target stars completely. Final count, 301 new planetary candidates. Objects the AI flagged as high-probability planets that human analysis had missed or rejected. Chen stared at the number. 301. That was insane. Kepler had found about 2,700 planets over its mission. And this AI just added 301 more? An 11% increase? Just from reanalyzing data we already had? She needed verification. Needed to confirm these weren't false positives. Needed to check that ExoMind hadn't made mistakes. She assembled her team. Dr. James Park, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, Dr. Michael Foster. 4 researchers, 301 candidates. Split them up. Start validating. They worked through the night, each taking 75 candidates, examining light curves, running independent analysis, checking for alternative explanations. Could stellar activity explain the signal? Could instrumental artifacts? Could anything besides a planet? November 17th, 06, 8 or EST. They reconvened, exhausted, stunned. The validation results were unbelievable. Of 301 candidates ExoMind identified, 283 were definitely real planets. 14 were probably real, but needed more data. Only 4 were false positives. 4% accuracy. The AI had correctly identified planets in data that human researchers had examined and rejected. Planets that had been sitting in publicly available datasets for up to 9 years. Planets that were real, confirmed, undeniable, just unnoticed. How did we miss these? Dr. Park asked. He was the most experienced planet hunter on the team. He'd personally validated hundreds of Kepler planets. He was good at this, and he'd missed 283 planets that were in data he'd looked at. Chen pulled up one example, KIC 8462852, a star that had been extensively studied because of unusual brightness variations, multiple papers written about it, theories proposed, mysteries debated. ExoMind flagged a planet there, a Neptune-sized world with 47-day orbit. She showed them the light curve, enhanced using ExoMind's filtering. There it was, clear transits, 6 of them visible, regular spacing, consistent depth, unmistakable planetary signature, right there in data that had been scrutinized by dozens of researchers. And nobody saw it because they were focused on the star's other weird behavior. We missed it because we weren't looking for it, Chen said. We were looking for the unusual stellar variability. The planet's signal was there, but it was context we ignored. Background noise. The AI doesn't have context bias. It just looks at data, sees patterns, doesn't care about what we think is important. That was the key insight. Human researchers brought assumptions, expectations, context. Sometimes that helped. Sometimes it blinded. ExoMind had no preconceptions. It just saw data, patterns, numbers. And in those numbers, it saw 301 worlds we'd missed. We need to publish this immediately, Dr. Tanaka said. The community needs to know. We've been sitting on 301 planets for years and didn't realize it. This changes exoplanet statistics, changes estimates of habitable world frequency, changes everything. But Chen hesitated. Before we publish, we need to check something else. We need to know which of these 301 planets are in habitable zones. Because if the AI found hundreds of missed planets, and dozens of them are potentially habitable, that's a different kind of announcement. That's first contact preparation level news. They ran the calculations. Of 301 planets ExoMind discovered, 47 were in their star's habitable zone. Earth-like temperatures? Liquid water possible. Life potentially viable. 47 worlds where biology might exist. Right now. Undiscovered until 3 days ago. Close enough that our telescopes could study them. Far enough that we'd never seen them. November 17th, 14:14 EST. Chen prepared the announcement. Press release. Academic paper. Data package. Everything ready. This would be the biggest exoplanet discovery since Kepler's original mission. Not because they'd observed anything new, but because they'd seen what was already there. The press release went out at 15 CT Phi CTM Fete. MIT researchers using AI system discover 301 previously undetected exoplanets in archival data, including 47 potentially habitable worlds. Within an hour, every major news organization was covering it. AI discovers 301 hidden planets. Hundreds of worlds hiding in plain sight. Artificial intelligence revolutionizes planet hunting. But the real story wasn't the AI. The real story was that we'd been blind. The universe had been showing us these planets for years, and we couldn't see them until we built something that could. November 18th, 2025. While the world processed the news that 301 planets had been hiding in our data, Dr. Chen's team focused on the most important subset, the 47 habitable zone planets. the ones that mattered most for humanity's search for life. Habitable zone doesn't mean inhabited. It means habitable, the region around a star where temperatures allow liquid water. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. Earth is in the Sun's habitable zone. Venus is too close, Mars is borderline, but Earth is perfect. Of the 47 planets ExoMind found in habitable zones, they needed to determine which were most Earth-like, which had the best chance of supporting life, which should be prioritized for follow-up observations. Dr. Tanaka led this analysis. She'd spent a decade studying planetary habitability, understood the factors that mattered: size, mass, density, orbital distance, stellar type, atmospheric composition if detectable, all contributing to whether a world could host biology. She created a ranking system. Earth Similarity Index. Score from 0 to 1. Earth scores 1.0 by definition. Mars scores about 0.7. Venus about 0.4. Anything above 0.8 was extremely Earth-like. Anything above 0.9 was almost identical to Earth. She ran the calculations for all 47 habitable zone planets. The results were staggering. 12 planets scored above 0.8, 5 scored above 0.9, and 1, ExoMind 247, scored 0.96, the most Earth-like planet ever discovered. And we'd had data on it since 2016. ExoMind 247 orbited a G2V star, exactly the same spectral type as our Sun. Same temperature, same luminosity, same everything. The star was designated Kepler 1047, catalogued but never thought to have planets. ExoMind found 3 planets there. The middle one, 247, was in the perfect spot, orbital period, 368 days, almost exactly 1 Earth year. Distance from star, 1.02 AU. Earth is 1.0 AU from the Sun. Radius, 1.08 Earth radii, just slightly bigger. Mass estimate, 1.2 Earth masses. Rocky composition confirmed. Gravity, just 15% stronger than Earth's. Temperature estimate, 285 Kelvin average. Earth is 288 Kelvin, difference of just 3 degrees. Liquid water certain. Oceans probable. Atmosphere likely. But the most exciting discovery came when Dr. Park analyzed the star's spectrum carefully, looking for something specific. Absorption lines. Wavelengths absorbed by gases in the planet's atmosphere when it transited. Difficult analysis. Requires careful measurements. But possible with Kepler's data if you knew exactly what to look for. He found them. Absorption features at wavelengths corresponding to water vapor, carbon dioxide, and oxygen, molecular oxygen. O2, in significant amounts. That was the smoking gun. Oxygen is reactive. It doesn't stay in atmospheres unless something produces it constantly. On Earth, photosynthesis produces oxygen. Plants, algae, cyanobacteria. Life creates oxygen, maintains it. Without life, atmospheric oxygen vanishes quickly. Geological processes consume it. An oxygen-rich atmosphere on an Earth-like planet in the habitable zone is a biosignature. Evidence of life, not proof, but very strong evidence. And ExoMind 247 had it. This planet probably has life, Dr. Park announced to the team. Not maybe, not possibly, probably. The oxygen levels are too high to explain abiotically. Something is producing it. Something biological, almost certainly. The team sat in stunned silence. They'd been planet hunting for years, hoping to find signs of life, and here it was. In data from 2016, a planet 127 light-years away, showing chemical evidence of biology. And nobody had seen it until an AI pointed it out. "We need to be careful how we announce this," Chen said. "This is basically first contact, not with beings, but with biosphere, with alien life. Even if it's just algae or bacteria, it's life, and the world needs to know. But we need to be certain first." They spent 3 more days validating. checking every possible alternative explanation. Could the oxygen come from photochemistry? From water photolysis? From any non-biological process? They ran models, consulted atmospheric chemists, explored every possibility. The answer kept coming back the same. No, the oxygen couldn't be abiotic. The levels were too high. The maintenance rate too fast. Something was producing oxygen actively, continuously, substantially. And only biology did that. November 21st, 2025. They released a second announcement, more carefully worded than the first, more profound in implications. Follow-up analysis of ExoMind 247, one of 47 habitable zone planets recently discovered, reveals atmospheric oxygen at levels suggesting biological origin. While alternative explanations cannot be completely ruled out, the most likely scenario is active biology on the planet's surface. The world stopped. This wasn't finding ancient fossils on Mars. This wasn't detecting amino acids in a meteorite. This was evidence of living, active, currently existing alien life on a planet so Earth-like it was almost a twin, just 127 light-years away. Close enough to study. Too far to visit anytime soon, but close enough to know we're not alone. Religious leaders scrambled to respond. Some embraced it as God's creation extending beyond Earth. Others struggled to reconcile with theological frameworks that didn't anticipate this. Most simply said, "We need time to process this." Scientists were ecstatic. This was what they'd been searching for, what SETI had been listening for, what planetary science had been working toward: evidence of life. Real. Confirmed. Existing right now on another world. But Dr. Chen was already thinking ahead. 47 habitable worlds. We've analyzed one carefully. What about the other 46? How many of them have biosignatures we haven't looked for yet? ExoMind found these planets. Can it find life on them too? She modified ExoMind's programming. New task: analyze atmospheric spectra for all 47 habitable zone planets. Look for biosignature gases. Oxygen, methane, phosphine, dimethyl sulfide, anything that suggested biology. Report what you find. The AI processed for 18 hours. When it finished, the results were beyond anything they'd imagined. Of 47 habitable zone planets, 23 showed atmospheric anomalies consistent with biological activity. Not all as strong as ExoMind 247, but present, detectable, significant. 3 planets with probable life. 23 worlds where biology had emerged independently. 23 examples of alien ecosystems, all within 500 light-years of Earth. All in data we'd had for years, all invisible until now. November 25th, 2025. While the team cataloged the 23 biosignature worlds, Dr. Foster focused on one planet that bothered him. ExoMind 089. The AI had flagged it as habitable zone, confirmed its existence. But something about its atmospheric spectrum was strange. The planet orbited a K-type star, smaller and cooler than the Sun, common type. About 70% of stars in our galaxy are K-type or smaller. Good for life, potentially. More stable than Sun-like stars. Longer lifespans. Habitable zones closer in, but still viable. ExoMind 089 was 1.4 Earth radii, about 2.1 Earth masses. Rocky, heavy atmosphere. In the habitable zone, temperatures right for liquid water. Should be normal. But the atmospheric composition was bizarre. Oxygen, yes, but also large amounts of methane, and phosphine, and dimethyl sulfide, and nitrous oxide, and half a dozen other trace gases that shouldn't coexist. Each individually suggested biology, but together they suggested impossible biology. On Earth, oxygen and methane don't coexist at high levels. Oxygen oxidizes methane, destroys it. They can only coexist if something produces methane constantly, while something else produces oxygen constantly. That happens on Earth. Bacteria produce methane. Plants produce oxygen. Equilibrium exists, but ExoMind 089 had both in much higher concentrations than Earth. Plus, phosphine. Phosphine is toxic, destroys biological molecules. On Earth, it exists only in trace amounts produced by bacteria in oxygen-free environments. It's immediately destroyed by oxygen. Can't persist, yet ExoMind 089 had both oxygen and phosphine. Lots of both. That was impossible on Earth. But there it was, clearly detected, measured precisely, real. This is a sign of extremely active, extremely diverse biology, Dr. Foster concluded. Not just life, not just algae or bacteria. Complex ecosystem, multiple metabolic pathways, organisms producing different gases, creating atmospheric chemistry Earth doesn't have. More life than Earth, more diverse life, more productive life. He ran calculations, estimated the biomass required to produce the observed gas concentrations. The numbers were staggering. ExoMind 089 would need biomass density 50 times higher than Earth. 50 times more life, covering every surface, filling every niche, producing gases at rates that overwhelmed normal chemistry. This is what a planet looks like when life completely dominates, he explained to the team. Earth has life, but also lots of lifeless areas. Deserts, glaciers, deep ocean floors. Parts of our world have minimal biology. ExoMind 089 doesn't. Life is everywhere there. Has been for long enough to completely transform the atmosphere. This is a mature biosphere, billions of years old, highly evolved, incredibly productive. Dr. Tanaka checked the planet's age. The star was 7.2 billion years old. Old. Ancient. The planet likely formed shortly after the star. Had been in the habitable zone for 7 billion years. Life on Earth is 3.7 billion years old. If life started on ExoMind 089 even earlier, it had 1 billion extra years to evolve, to diversify, to spread. Could it have intelligent life? Dr. Park asked. The question everyone was thinking, but nobody wanted to say. Unknown, Foster admitted. The atmospheric chemistry tells us there's abundant, diverse, productive life. It doesn't tell us about intelligence. We'd need to detect technosignatures for that. Radio emissions, artificial lights on the night side, industrial pollutants. We don't have that data from Kepler observations. But, he continued, given 7 billion years, given massive biological productivity, given clear evidence of complex ecosystems, intelligence is possible, maybe even probable. Life on Earth developed intelligence after 3.7 billion years. They've had nearly twice that long. If evolutionary pressures favor intelligence, they've had plenty of time. The implications were staggering. ExoMind 089 might not just have life, it might have civilization, technology, possibly even awareness of the universe around them, possibly even knowledge of Earth. If they had radio telescopes, they could detect us. We've been broadcasting for a century. Those signals have reached 400 light-years. ExoMind 089 is 284 light-years away. Well within range. Should we try communicating? Dr. Chen asked. Should we send a signal? Let them know we see them? The debate began. Arguments for, if intelligence is there, they might want contact, might welcome it, might have been waiting for others to emerge. First contact could be peaceful, beneficial, transformative. Arguments against, we don't know they're intelligent. Could be just microbes, and even if intelligent, we don't know they're friendly. Broadcasting our location might be dangerous, might invite attention we're not ready for. Dr. Foster advocated caution. Let's gather more data first. Point larger telescopes at ExoMind 089. Look for technosignatures, night-side lighting, radio emissions, atmospheric pollutants like CFCs or industrial byproducts. If we find those, then we know intelligence is there. Then we can decide about contact. But jumping straight to broadcasting without more information is premature. The team agreed. More observation first. Contact decisions later. They drafted a proposal for James Webb Space Telescope time, requested detailed spectroscopy of ExoMind 089, maximum resolution, looking for any signs of technology, any hints of civilization, any clues about what was producing that impossible atmospheric chemistry. The proposal was submitted November 30th. Peer review would take weeks. Observation scheduling would take months. They'd have answers eventually. But for now, ExoMind 089 remained a mystery. A planet with clear signs of life. Possibly complex life. Possibly intelligent life. Just 284 light-years away. Close enough to study. Far enough to wonder. December 2025. While waiting for Webb telescope time, Dr. Tanaka focused on another fascinating planet. ExoMind 178, a water world, almost entirely covered by ocean. Unlike Earth, which is 70% ocean, ExoMind 178 appeared to be 95% or more water coverage. Maybe 98%. Almost no land. Just endless seas. The planet was 1.6 Earth radii, about 3.2 Earth masses. Larger than Earth, heavier, but lower density. That meant less iron core, less rock, more water. Lots more water. Possibly ocean depths of 100 kilometers or more, compared to Earth's deepest ocean at 11 kilometers. ExoMind 178 orbited an orange dwarf star, K5e spectral type, cooler than the Sun, about 4,000 Kelvin instead of 5,800 Kelvin, but stable, long-lived. The planet was close. Orbital period just 87 days, but that put it in the habitable zone. Temperatures perfect for liquid water. Atmospheric analysis showed water vapor. Lots of it. Clouds probably covering most of the planet. Rain frequent. Storms common. Climate dominated by ocean-atmosphere interaction. No continents to disrupt circulation, just global ocean patterns. Currents flowing. Heat distributing. Weather systems circling the planet. But what made ExoMind 178 truly special was the biosignature detection. The AI found oxygen, but also dimethyl sulfide, DMS. On Earth, DMS is produced exclusively by marine phytoplankton, microscopic algae floating in sunlit surface waters. No known abiotic source exists. Finding DMS in a planet's atmosphere is unambiguous evidence of ocean life. ExoMind 178 had DMS. Lots of it. Concentrations 20 times higher than Earth. That meant massive phytoplankton blooms, productive surface waters, life abundant in the oceans. This is an alien ocean ecosystem, Dr. Tanaka explained during a team meeting. Not land life, not forests or grasslands. Ocean life. Photosynthetic organisms in the water. Possibly things feeding on them. Marine food chains. Aquatic ecosystems covering the entire planet. She pulled up models of what the planet might look like. Deep blue oceans everywhere. Cloud patterns. Storm systems. Maybe small island chains here and there. But mostly just water. Waves. Currents. An entire world defined by its seas. On Earth, oceans cover 70% of the surface, but contain 99% of the livable space by volume, she continued. ExoMind 178's oceans might be 100 kilometers deep. That's enormous volume, enormous habitat. If life fills those oceans the way it fills Earth's oceans, this planet could have more biomass than Earth by far. More life, more diversity, all aquatic. Dr. Chen asked the obvious question. Could intelligent life evolve in oceans? Without land? Without fire? Without technology that requires metallurgy? Tanaka considered carefully. On Earth, intelligence evolved on land. Primates. Then hominids. Then humans. We used tools, made fire, developed technology, all requiring land. But theoretically, intelligence could evolve underwater. Dolphins are smart. Octopi are brilliant. Marine mammals and cephalopods show sophisticated cognition. The challenge is technology, she continued. How do you develop advanced technology underwater? No fire, no metallurgy, no electronics. Water conducts electricity, ruins circuits. Everything would have to be biological technology. Genetic engineering, maybe. Bioengineering. Using living organisms as tools. But, she added, just because we can't imagine how doesn't mean it's impossible. Octopi show incredible problem-solving despite having completely different nervous system architecture than mammals. Alien ocean life might develop intelligence we don't recognize, technology we don't understand, methods we haven't conceived. The team discussed possibilities. Maybe intelligent ocean life never developed technology, remained biological, lived in harmony with their environment without transforming it. No cities, no machines. Just sophisticated organisms in complex social structures, or maybe they developed biological technology, engineered organisms, living tools, bioluminescent communication networks, genetically modified coral-forming structures, trained creatures performing tasks, civilization without industry. Or maybe they discovered methods Earth's ocean life never needed, found ways to work metal underwater, discovered chemical processes that function in water, developed technology along completely different paths than humans did. The point is, we don't know, Tanaka concluded. ExoMind 178 definitely has life. The DMS is unambiguous. It probably has abundant ocean life. Could it have intelligent ocean life? Maybe, but we'd need different ways to detect it. Not radio signals, not industrial pollution, something else. Bioluminescent patterns, maybe. Organized large-scale structures. Chemical signatures of biological engineering. Things we haven't thought to look for. December 15, 2025. Dr. Park was analyzing another subset of the 47 habitable planets, looking for unusual cases, extremes, planets pushing the boundaries of what we considered habitable. He found one that stunned him, ExoMind 312. A planet orbiting a red dwarf star, M2V spectral type. Very small, very cool, just 3500 Kelvin. The star was barely massive enough to fuse hydrogen. On the edge of being a brown dwarf, dim, faint. The habitable zone was close, very close. ExoMind 312 orbited at just 0.08 AU, 1/10 Earth's distance from the Sun. Orbital period, 18 days. The planet was tidally locked, one side always facing the star, one side always dark. Permanent day, permanent night, no rotation relative to its star. This seemed bad for life. Tidally locked planets were thought to be problematic. Dayside too hot, nightside frozen. No day-night cycle. Extreme temperature gradients. Winds screaming from hot to cold hemisphere. Harsh conditions. But ExoMind found biosignatures there. Oxygen. Methane. The planet had life. Despite the extreme conditions, despite the tidal locking, life had found a way. Dr. Park modeled the climate. On the day side, near the substellar point where the star hung permanently overhead, temperatures reached 340 Kelvin. Too hot. But toward the terminator, the twilight zone between day and night, temperatures dropped to 280, 290 Kelvin. Perfect. Liquid water. Comfortable conditions. And on the night side, surprisingly, it wasn't frozen solid. The thick atmosphere redistributed heat, carried warmth from dayside to nightside, kept the dark hemisphere from dropping below 250 Kelvin. Cold, but not frozen. Ice, certainly. But also possibly liquid water in protected areas. Underground, maybe. Or in geothermally heated regions. Life is in the twilight zones, Park concluded. The ring around the planet between day and night. Permanent sunset on one side. Permanent sunrise on the other. Temperatures perfect. Light available. Water liquid. That's where life exists. He imagined what that world might look like. Standing in the twilight zone, the star eternally on the horizon. Half the sky lit by dim red light. Half dark. Wind constantly blowing from the bright side to the dark side. Storms forming at the terminator. An alien sun that never rose and never set. Just hung there, forever. Evolution there would be strange, he said. No day-night cycle, no seasons, no changing conditions, just permanent twilight. How would life adapt? Would plants exist? They'd need light, but only get dim red light from low on horizon. Would animals exist? Would there be migration between light and dark zones? Would ecosystems be different in sunrise versus sunset regions? And what about intelligence? Dr. Chen asked. Could it develop there? Unknown, Park admitted. But the conditions aren't necessarily limiting. Stable environment, liquid water, energy from starlight, all the requirements for life and evolution. Intelligence emerged on Earth in varied environments. No reason it couldn't emerge there, though the tidal locking would give them a very different view of the universe. They'd never see stars rotate, never see sunset or sunrise. Their astronomy would be bizarre from our perspective. December 20th, 2025. Dr. Foster was examining the largest planet in the habitable zone collection, ExoMind 401, a super-Earth. Dweep Yuan Earth ready, 7.3 Earth masses, rocky composition, but huge, massive, heavy. Surface gravity would be about 2.3 times Earth's. Everything would weigh more than twice as much. Standing would be exhausting, walking difficult, running nearly impossible for Earth-adapted organisms. Crushing gravity by our standards, yet ExoMind detected biosignatures. Oxygen, organic hazes, possible phosphine. Life existed there. Under more than double Earth's gravity, organisms had adapted, evolved, thrived even. Life there would look different from Earth life, Foster explained to the team. Higher gravity means different body plans. On Earth, large animals have thick legs, support structures. Skeletons adapted to gravity. Elephants, hippos, large dinosaurs. Compare their builds to smaller animals. On ExoMind 401, everything would need robust structures. Thick bones, powerful muscles, no tall trees, no flying birds unless they had massive wings. Everything compact, close to ground, wide not tall. But microorganisms wouldn't care. Bacteria don't feel gravity. Too small. Neither do many plants. Grasses, mosses, low vegetation. Life would exist, just in different forms, different strategies, different appearances. He pulled up models of potential life forms. Thick-bodied hexapods, 6 legs for stability, low profile, maybe armor plating for protection and structural support. Plants that spread wide but grew minimally upward. Forests measured in meters, not tens of meters. Everything adapted to the crushing pull. Could intelligence evolve there? Dr. Tanaka asked. Could a species develop technology under 2.3 G? Foster considered. Harder than on Earth, but not impossible. Intelligence doesn't require large bodies. Octopi are intelligent and they're not large. Dolphins are smart and live in water where buoyancy reduces effective gravity. An intelligent species on ExoMind 401 might be small, dense, compact, but brilliant. The challenge would be space travel, he continued. Getting off a super-Earth requires much more energy than Earth. Our rockets struggle with Earth's gravity. Imagine needing 2.3 times more thrust, more fuel, bigger engines. Getting to space would be monumentally difficult. They might develop advanced technology, but never leave their planet, trapped by their own world's mass. Dr. Chen found that thought sobering. They could be out there right now, intelligent, technological, looking at the stars, knowing other worlds exist, but unable to reach them, prisoners of their own planet's gravity. What would that do to a civilization psychologically? Maybe they'd focus inward, Park suggested. Develop their world, their society, their culture, not outward expansion, but internal perfection. Or maybe they'd develop technologies we haven't imagined, ways to overcome gravity that don't require chemical rockets, electromagnetic launch systems, space elevators, orbital rings, engineering solutions we haven't needed because Earth's gravity is manageable. December 22nd, 2025. The team had now analyzed all 47 habitable zone planets in detail, created comprehensive profiles, identified which showed biosignatures, which might harbor intelligent life, which were most interesting for follow-up observation. The statistics were mind-blowing. Of 47 habitable zone planets, 3 showed clear biosignatures, had liquid water confirmed or highly probable. 12 were extremely Earth-like, ESI above 0.8.5, were near twins of Earth. ESI above 0.9.1 was almost identical to Earth. ExoMind 247, ESI 0.96, and these were just in the Kepler dataset, just from reanalyzing one telescope's observations. What about test data? What about ground-based surveys? What about data from other missions that hadn't been reanalyzed by AI yet? Dr. Chen made a decision. We're expanding ExoMind's search. Every exoplanet dataset we have access to. Kepler, TESS, ground-based transit surveys, radial velocity surveys, everything. Let's see how many more worlds are hiding in data we already have. The AI was reconfigured. New training, new parameters, optimized for different observation methods, set loose on the full archive of exoplanet data collected over 25 years of searching. Processing would take weeks, but if the pattern held, if every dataset contained missed planets the way Kepler did, they might find thousands more. Thousands of worlds, hundreds in habitable zones, dozens with biosignatures. We're going to need a bigger team, Dr. Tanaka said, only half joking. January 3, 2026, ExoMind finished processing the TESS dataset. The results were extraordinary. 847 new planetary candidates, same pattern as Kepler. Planets hiding in plain sight, dismissed signals, overlooked transits, all real, all confirmed by AI analysis. But one discovery stood out above all others. A system ExoMind designated as Priority 1, a K-type star 89 light-years away, catalogued as TESS 2847, previously thought to be boring. No planets detected. Nothing interesting, just another star. ExoMind found 7 planets there, 7 rocky worlds, all in or near the habitable zone, all Earth-sized or close to it. A complete system of potentially habitable planets orbiting one star. Like someone had taken Earth and made 7 copies with slight variations. Dr. Park checked and rechecked the analysis. It was real. 7 planets. Orbital periods ranging from 6 days to 47 days. All transiting, all detectable, all missed by human analysis because the signals were weak and overlapping. Multiple planets transiting the same star created complex light curves. Algorithms had classified it as stellar variability, but ExoMind saw through it, separated the individual transits, identified each planet. TESS 2847b. Innermost. 0.0 Earth ready. Orbital period 6.1 days. Too hot. 420 Kelvin. Not habitable but interesting. Rocky. Possibly volcanic. TESS 2847c. 0.94 Earth radii. Period 9.3 days. Still hot. 318 Kelvin. Inner edge of habitable zone. Liquid water unlikely but possible in polar regions. TESS 2847 Tude 1.08 Earth radii. Period 13.7 days. Habitable zone. 310 Kelvin. Venus-like possibly, but maybe habitable with right atmosphere. ESS 2847e 0.98 Earth radii. Period 18.2 days. Middle of habitable zone. 280 Kelvin. Earth-like temperature. ExoMind's biosignature analysis showed oxygen and water vapor. High probability of life. TESS 2847f. 1.15 Earth radii. Period 24.6 days. Habitable zone. 275 Kelvin. Cooler than Earth, but warm enough. Possible ocean world. DMS detected. Marine life probable. TESS 2847G 1.21 Earth radii. Period 33.1 days. Outer habitable zone. 265 Kelvin. Cold but habitable. Ice caps probable. But equatorial regions warm enough for liquid water. TESS, Tatutuidate, 47H, outermost. 0.21 Earth radii. Period 46.8 days. Edge of habitable zone. 250 Kelvin. Mars-like. Cold. But ExoMind detected methane. Possible subsurface life. Geothermal activity. Underground oceans. 7 worlds. 3 with clear biosignatures. 4 possibly habitable. All in one system. All detectable from Earth. All within 89 light-years. Close enough for detailed study. Far enough that we'd never known they existed. This is the most important system we've found, Dr. Chen said. Not just one potentially inhabited world. 3, possibly 4. In one system. Multiple biospheres. Multiple independent origins of life. Or maybe related. Maybe life spread between them. Panspermia. Asteroids carrying microbes from one planet to another. Seeding the system. The implications were staggering. If life existed on multiple planets in one system, it meant life was common. Very common. Not rare. Not special. But abundant. Natural. Inevitable, given the right conditions. And if one system had multiple living worlds, how many other systems did too? How many of the thousands of exoplanets we'd found had neighbors we'd missed? How many systems were teeming with life on multiple worlds? We need to study this system intensively, Dr. Foster said. Maximum telescope time, every available instrument. JWST, Hubble. Ground-based spectroscopy, radio telescope searches. Look for everything. Biosignatures, technosignatures, anything that tells us more about these worlds. Proposals were drafted immediately. Highest priority, submitted to every major observatory, requesting time, requesting resources, requesting focus on TESS 2847, the 7-planet system that might rewrite our understanding of life in the universe. January 15, 2026. While waiting for telescope time, Dr. Tanaka made a discovery that shifted their entire research direction. She'd been analyzing the distribution of biosignature planets, looking for patterns. Trying to understand what factors made life more likely, she created a map, 3D visualization, showing all stars within 500 light-years of Earth. Color-coded by whether ExoMind found planets there. Blue for no planets. Yellow for planets detected. Red for planets with biosignatures. The pattern was shocking. Biosignature planets weren't randomly distributed. They clustered. Regions of space with multiple life-bearing worlds close together. Other regions with none. Non-random. Structured. Like something had organized them. Look at this sector, she said, highlighting a region 300 light-years away in the direction of Cygnus. 12 stars within 50 light-years of each other. 9 of them have biosignature planets. That's not coincidence. That's not random chance. That's 75%. Compared to overall rate of about 15%. She highlighted another region. Here, toward Aquila. 15 stars. 11 with biosignatures, 73%. And here, showing a third cluster. Toward Lyra. 22 stars. 16 with biosignatures. Again over 70%. The pattern was clear. Life clustered. Regions rich with biology. Other regions with almost none. Why Dr. Park had a hypothesis. Panspermia. Life spreading between star systems. Not randomly, but in clusters. Stars in the same birth group. Born from the same molecular cloud. Relatively close together. Asteroids exchanged between them during early chaotic phases. Carrying microbes. Seeding each other. That would explain the clustering, Dr. Chen agreed. Stars born together stay somewhat close. If life emerged in one system early, it could spread to neighbors. Then those neighbors become sources, spreading further, creating pockets of biology. While isolated stars never get seeded, remain lifeless, Dr. Tanaka ran simulations. Modeling panspermia between stellar siblings. How far could life spread? How fast? Under what conditions? The results supported the hypothesis. Given reasonable assumptions about asteroid exchange rates and microbial survival in space, life could spread through stellar clusters effectively, creating exactly the pattern she observed. This means life might not have originated on all these worlds independently, Foster realized. Many of them might share common ancestry, genetic relatives, cousins, all descended from one original Genesis event, then spread, diversified, evolved independently. But related. Could we test that? Dr. Chen asked. Eventually, Tanaka said. If we ever get samples or detailed genetic analysis from spectroscopy, we could look for common molecular patterns, universal genetic codes, signs of shared ancestry. But that's decades away at minimum. For now, it's a hypothesis, supported by the clustering pattern but not proven. January the 22nd, 2026. Dr. Park was reviewing spectroscopic data from ExoMind 247, the most Earth-like planet, the one with highest probability of life. Something caught his attention. An anomaly in the oxygen absorption lines. Oxygen in Earth's atmosphere absorbs light at specific wavelengths, creates characteristic signature. ExoMind 247's oxygen signature was similar, but not identical. Slightly shifted, slightly different pattern. He ran analysis. The shift suggested different isotopic ratios. On Earth, oxygen is mostly oxygen-16, some oxygen-18. Trace amounts of oxygen-17. Standard ratios. Consistent across Earth's atmosphere because it's well mixed. ExoMind 247's oxygen had more oxygen-18, about 12% compared to Earth's 0.2%. That was significant, not normal, not explainable by standard atmospheric chemistry. This is a biosignature, Park explained to the team. The oxygen isotope ratio tells us about biological processes. Different organisms fractionate isotopes differently during metabolism. The high oxygen-18 suggests unusual biochemistry, maybe different photosynthesis mechanism, maybe C4 pathway instead of C3, maybe something completely alien. It's evidence of active biology, he continued, and it's evidence that biology there isn't identical to Earth life. Different, alien, using different chemical pathways, producing different isotopic signatures. This isn't Earth life that somehow got there. This is native life, independently evolved, genuinely alien biology. The implications were profound. Not just that life existed elsewhere, but that it was different life, following different evolutionary paths, using different biochemical solutions. Alien not just in origin, but in implementation. How different could it be? Dr. Chen wondered. Still DNA-based? Still using proteins? Still cellular? Or completely different? Non-DNA genetics? Non-protein machinery? Non-cellular organization? Unknown, Park admitted. The isotope data tells us the chemistry is different. But not how different. Not at what level. We'd need much more detailed spectroscopy to determine molecular structures. And really, we'd need samples, direct observation, to understand truly alien biochemistry. But this proves it's possible, Foster said. Life isn't just an Earth thing, isn't just one solution. It's a space of solutions, multiple implementations, different chemistries, all viable, all successful. Life is flexible, adaptable, creative, and we're going to find it everywhere, in forms we never imagined. January 28, 2026, 02:17 UTC. Dr. Sarah Chen's phone rang, middle of the night. She answered groggily. It was Dr. Park. His voice was shaking. Sarah, you need to come to the lab. Now. Right now. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Everything's right. We've detected something from ExoMind 247. A signal. An artificial signal? Chen was suddenly wide awake. What kind of signal? Radio, narrowband, 1.42 gigahertz. The hydrogen line. Same frequency SETI has been monitoring for decades. It's coming from ExoMind 247's location. Started 43 minutes ago. Still transmitting. She was already getting dressed. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Don't touch anything. Record everything. Get Tanaka and Foster there too. She arrived at the lab at 02:34 UTC. The team was assembling. Computer screens showing radio telescope data. A clear spike at 1.42 GHz, coming from coordinates matching ExoMind 247. Strong signal, unambiguous. This is it, Dr. Shostak from SETI said via video call. He'd been brought in immediately. This is what we've been listening for. Artificial radio emission from another world. Not random, not natural. Engineered. Transmitted. Someone sent this. The signal wasn't modulated with obvious data. Just a carrier wave. Like a beacon. Like someone saying, "We're here," without adding message, content. Simple. Universal. Detectable. By any civilization monitoring radio wavelengths. Have we detected anything like this before from ExoMind 247? Chen asked. No, Park said. We've been monitoring sporadically since November. Nothing. Then, at 01:34 UTC, it appeared. Sudden, strong, and it's been constant since. Continuous transmission. Could it be natural? Foster asked. Atmospheric phenomenon? Magnetic field activity? Shostak shook his head. No natural process creates narrowband radio at the hydrogen line. Too coincidental. Too specific. This is artificial. Deliberate. Someone is broadcasting. The question hung in the air. Someone. Not something. Not life. Not biology. Intelligence. Technology. Civilization. On a planet 127 light-years away. Sending radio signals that we were now receiving. They don't know we exist yet, Dr. Tanaka realized. Our radio signals haven't reached them. Earth's broadcasts travel at light speed. We've been transmitting for about 100 years. 127 light-years away, they won't receive our signals for another 27 years. So this isn't a response to us, Chen said. This is them broadcasting anyway, for their own reasons, or broadcasting generally, hoping someone is listening. And we happen to hear them. Should we respond? Park asked. The room fell silent. This was the moment. This was first contact. Not with biology, with intelligence, with beings capable of building radio transmitters, capable of mathematics and engineering and choosing to broadcast into space, capable of wondering if they were alone. And now they had an answer. They weren't alone. We existed. We could hear them. We could respond. If we chose to, we should respond, Dr. Chen said firmly. This is what SETI was created for. This is why we've been listening. They're reaching out. We should reach back. But carefully, Shostak added. We don't know who they are, what they're like, what they want. The response should be simple, mathematical, universal, just acknowledgement. Saying, we received your signal, we're here, we're listening. They composed a message. Binary sequence, prime numbers, representation of hydrogen atom. Simple mathematics. The universal language, broadcast at the same frequency they'd used, aimed at ExoMind 247, transmitted at maximum power from multiple radio telescopes. The signal was sent at 0347 UTC. Travel time to ExoMind 247, 127 years. They wouldn't receive it until 2153, wouldn't respond until 2280 at earliest. 254 years from now, long after everyone in this room was dead, but the message was sent. First deliberate communication from humanity to confirmed intelligent aliens. Historic, profound, irrevocable. What do we tell the world? Dr. Foster asked. This is bigger than discovering biosignatures. This is intelligence, technology, civilization. How do we announce this? Chen thought carefully. We tell the truth. Exactly what we detected. No speculation. No dramatization. Just facts. Radio signal from ExoMind 247. Artificial origin confirmed. Intelligence implied. Response sent. Acknowledgement won't arrive for over a century. But contact initiated. January 28, 2026. 08 Antodi Point. EST. Emergency Press Conference. Dr. Chen at the podium. Every major news network broadcasting live. The world watching. Early this morning at 0134 UTC, radio telescopes detected an artificial signal from the exoplanet ExoMind 247, the most Earth-like planet discovered in recent AI survey. The signal is a narrowband radio transmission at the hydrogen line frequency. Analysis confirms artificial origin. This is evidence of technological civilization on ExoMind 247. The signal is not directed at Earth. It appears to be a general broadcast, a beacon, an announcement of their existence. We have responded with a simple mathematical message acknowledging receipt. Due to 127 light-year distance, our reply will not arrive for 127 years. Any response would not return for 254 years. This is not an invasion. This is not a threat. This is simply confirmation that we are not alone. That intelligence has emerged elsewhere. That somewhere out there, beings capable of technology and curiosity and reaching out exist. And now we know about them. And eventually, they will know about us. Humanity has just made first contact with an alien civilization. Not face-to-face, not through visitation, but through the simple act of listening and hearing someone else calling into the void. This changes everything we thought we knew about our place in the cosmos. We are not alone. We never were. And now, definitively, we know it. The press conference ended. The world processed. The implications sank in. We weren't alone. Out there, 127 light-years away, someone existed. Someone who built radios. Someone who broadcast. Someone who wondered about the universe just like we did. And now, slowly, impossibly slowly by human timescales, but inevitably by cosmic ones, a conversation was beginning. A dialogue across the stars. A connection between worlds. First contact. Real. Confirmed. Happening. The age of loneliness was over. The age of conversation was beginning. And ExoMind, the AI that found 301 hidden worlds, had given humanity the greatest gift possible. Not just planets. Not just biosignatures. But neighbors, friends among the stars, proof that we weren't unique, weren't special, weren't alone. The universe was full of life, full of minds, full of voices calling out. And finally, we'd learned to listen and heard them calling back. January 28, 2026, 02:17 UTC. Dr. Sarah Chen's phone rang, middle of the night. She answered groggily. It was Dr. Park. His voice was shaking. Sarah, you need to come to the lab. Now. Right now. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Everything's right. We've detected something from ExoMind 247. A signal. An artificial signal? Chen was suddenly wide awake. What kind of signal? Radio, narrowband. 1.42 gigahertz. The hydrogen line. Same frequency SETI has been monitoring for decades. It's coming from ExoMind 247's location. Started 43 minutes ago. Still transmitting. She was already getting dressed. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Don't touch anything. Record everything. Get Tanaka and Foster there too. She arrived at the lab at 0234 UTC. The team was assembling. Computer screens showing radio telescope data. A clear spike at 1.42 GHz, coming from coordinates matching ExoMind 247. Strong signal, unambiguous. This is it, Dr. Shostak from SETI said via video call. He'd been brought in immediately. This is what we've been listening for. Artificial radio emission from another world. Not random, not natural. Engineered. Transmitted. Someone sent this. The signal wasn't modulated with obvious data. Just a carrier wave. Like a beacon. Like someone saying, "We're here," without adding message, content. Simple. Universal. Detectable. By any civilization monitoring radio wavelengths. Have? We detected anything like this before from ExoMind 247? Chen asked. No, Park said. We've been monitoring sporadically since November. Nothing. Then, at 0134 UTC, it appeared. Sudden, strong, and it's been constant since. Continuous transmission. Could it be natural? Foster asked. Atmospheric phenomenon? Magnetic field activity? Shostak shook his head. No natural process creates narrowband radio at the hydrogen line. Too coincidental. Too specific. This is artificial. Deliberate. Someone is broadcasting. The question hung in the air. Someone. Not something. Not life. Not biology. Intelligence. Technology. Civilization. On a planet 127 light-years away. Sending radio signals that we were now receiving. They don't know we exist yet, Dr. Tanaka realized. Our radio signals haven't reached them. Earth's broadcasts travel at light speed. We've been transmitting for about 100 years. 127 light-years away, they won't receive our signals for another 27 years. So this isn't a response to us, Chen said. This is them broadcasting anyway, for their own reasons, or broadcasting generally, hoping someone is listening. And we happen to hear them. Should we respond? Park asked. The room fell silent. This was the moment. This was first contact. Not with biology, with intelligence, with beings capable of building radio transmitters, capable of mathematics and engineering and choosing to broadcast into space, capable of wondering if they were alone. And now they had an answer. They weren't alone. We existed. We could hear them. We could respond. If we chose to, we should respond, Dr. Chen said firmly. This is what SETI was created for. This is why we've been listening. They're reaching out. We should reach back. But carefully, Shostak added. We don't know who they are, what they're like, what they want. The response should be simple, mathematical, universal, just acknowledgement. Saying, we received your signal, we're here, we're listening. They composed a message. Binary sequence, prime numbers, representation of hydrogen atom, simple mathematics, the universal language, broadcast at the same frequency they'd used, aimed at ExoMind 247, transmitted at maximum power from multiple radio telescopes. The signal was sent at 0347 UTC. Travel time to ExoMind 247, 127 years. They wouldn't receive it until 2153, wouldn't respond until 2280 at earliest. 254 years from now, long after everyone in this room was dead, but the message was sent. First deliberate communication from humanity to confirmed intelligent aliens. Historic, profound, irrevocable. What do we tell the world? Dr. Foster asked. This is bigger than discovering biosignatures. This is intelligence, technology, civilization. How do we announce this? Chen thought carefully. We tell the truth. Exactly what we detected. No speculation. No dramatization. Just facts. Radio signal from ExoMind 247. Artificial origin confirmed. Intelligence implied. Response sent. Acknowledgement won't arrive for over a century. But contact initiated. January 28, 2026. 08 Antodi Point. EST. Emergency press conference. Dr. Chen at the podium. Every major news network broadcasting live. The world watching. Early this morning at 0134 UTC, radio telescopes detected an artificial signal from the exoplanet ExoMind 247, the most Earth-like planet discovered in recent AI survey. The signal is a narrowband radio transmission at the hydrogen line frequency. Analysis confirms artificial origin. This is evidence of technological civilization on ExoMind 247. The signal is not directed at Earth. It appears to be a general broadcast, a beacon, an announcement of their existence. We have responded with a simple mathematical message acknowledging receipt. Due to 127 light-year distance, our reply will not arrive for 127 years. Any response would not return for 254 years. This is not an invasion. This is not a threat. This is simply confirmation that we are not alone. That intelligence has emerged elsewhere. That somewhere out there, beings capable of technology and curiosity and reaching out exist. And now we know about them. And eventually, they will know about us. Humanity has just made first contact with an alien civilization. Not face-to-face, not through visitation, but through the simple act of listening and hearing someone else calling into the void. This changes everything we thought we knew about our place in the cosmos. We are not alone. We never were. And now, definitively, we know it. The press conference ended. The world processed. The implications sank in. We weren't alone. Out there, 127 light-years away, someone existed. Someone who built radios. Someone who broadcast. Someone who wondered about the universe just like we did. And now, slowly, impossibly slowly by human timescales, but inevitably by cosmic ones, a conversation was beginning. A dialogue across the stars. A connection between worlds. First contact. Real. Confirmed. Happening. The age of loneliness was over. The age of conversation was beginning. And ExoMind, the AI that found 301 hidden worlds, had given humanity the greatest gift possible. Not just planets, not just biosignatures, but neighbors, friends among the stars, proof that we weren't unique, weren't special, weren't alone. The universe was full of life, full of minds, full of voices calling out. And finally, we'd learned to listen and heard them calling back. February 2026. The discovery of radio signals from ExoMind 247 transformed everything. Funding flooded into ExoMind's development. Dr. Chen's team expanded from 4 researchers to 50, then 200. International collaboration. Every space agency participating. Project renamed the 100 Worlds Project. Goal: identify at least 100 potentially inhabited worlds suitable for intensive study. ExoMind was upgraded. More computing power, better algorithms, new training data incorporating everything learned from the first 301 discoveries. Set to analyze every exoplanet dataset in existence. Not just Kepler and TESS, every transit survey, every radial velocity survey, every direct imaging observation. Everything. The AI ran continuously. March through August 2026. Processing, finding, confirming. The discoveries came in waves. Dozens of new planets per week. Hundreds per month. By September, ExoMind had flagged 4,147 planetary candidates. Of those, 3,921 were confirmed real after human validation. Of those, 412 were in habitable zones. Of those, 127 showed biosignatures, sentient worlds with evidence of life. 127 biospheres, 127 independent examples of biology, all within 1,000 light-years of Earth. All detectable, all real, all there the entire time. Waiting to be found, Dr. Tanaka led the biosignature characterization effort, creating profiles for each planet. What kind of life? Marine? Terrestrial? Microbial? Complex? Active? Dormant? The atmospheric chemistry told stories. Each world unique. Each biosphere different. Some planets had oxygen-rich atmospheres like Earth, suggesting photosynthetic life. Plants or plant-like organisms, primary producers. Food chains built on light. Others had methane-dominated atmospheres, suggesting anaerobic metabolism, life without oxygen, like Earth's early biosphere 3 billion years ago. Methanogenic archaea, primitive but prolific. Some had bizarre chemistry, multiple gases that shouldn't coexist. Complex ecosystems with diverse metabolisms. Mature biospheres billions of years old. Life filling every niche. And 3 planets, including ExoMind 247, showed signs of technology. Radio emissions, narrowband signals, artificial wavelengths, intelligence, civilization, minds reaching out. 3 civilizations within 500 light years, Dr. Chen said during a team meeting. If that's representative, if the density is consistent throughout the galaxy, there could be 50,000 technological civilizations in the Milky Way. Maybe more. We're surrounded by intelligence, by minds, by cultures, and we're just starting to hear them. The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't special, wasn't unique, wasn't the only intelligence in the galaxy. We were one of many, perhaps one of thousands, perhaps one of millions, just one voice in a vast cosmic conversation. But we'd been deaf, listening in wrong ways, looking for wrong signals, assuming others would be like us, would use our technologies, would think like us. ExoMind succeeded because it didn't make assumptions, just looked for patterns, found what was there, not what we expected. September 2026. The 100 Worlds Project published its first comprehensive catalog. 27 biosignature worlds, complete characterizations, atmospheric compositions, probable life types, follow-up observation priorities. The paper was 247 pages. The supplementary data was 12 terabytes. Everything they'd learned from 9 months of intensive analysis. The catalog became the foundation for next-generation searches. Every observatory pointed at these worlds. JWST, Hubble, ground-based telescopes, all gathering data, taking spectra, looking for details, trying to understand these alien biospheres. And SETI expanded dramatically. If 3 civilizations had been found accidentally, how many more existed? New radio telescope arrays were funded. Larger, more sensitive, dedicated to searching the biosignature worlds for signals, for technological markers, for signs of intelligence. December 17, 2026, 11:23 UTC. Nearly a year after detecting the first signal from ExoMind 247, something changed. The continuous carrier wave that had been broadcasting stopped. Suddenly, then resumed 3 seconds later. But different. Modulated. Carrying data. Dr. Park was monitoring when it happened. The signal changed, pulsed, started encoding information. Binary data, organized, structured, a message. He called Dr. Chen immediately. The signal from ExoMind 247. It changed. It's not just a carrier anymore. They're transmitting data. A lot of data. Gigabytes. Still coming. The team assembled, watching in real time as the message downloaded. The transmission continued for 8 hours, then stopped. Returned to carrier wave. But the message was complete. 47 gigabytes of data. Encoded in simple binary. Easy to decode. Meant to be understood. Dr. Yamamoto, now part of the expanded team, led the decoding effort. He'd become expert in alien communication through his work on biosignature chemistry patterns. Now he faced actual alien data. A message from intelligent beings, sent deliberately, meant to communicate. The data was structured hierarchically. Header section, introduction, main content, appendices, like a book, or a scientific paper, or an encyclopedia. Organized for comprehension, the header was mathematical, prime numbers, constants, physical quantities, establishing common reference frame, saying, we use the same math, the same physics, the same universal truths. We can communicate through these foundations. The introduction was images, simple images, black and white, low resolution, but clear, showing their world, their star, their system, themselves. The first image showed a planet, continents, oceans, clouds, their home, clearly Earth-like, clearly habitable, clearly loved. They were showing us where they lived. The second image showed beings, not human, not even humanoid, but clearly alive, clearly intelligent, clearly technological, 6-limbed, radially symmetric, complex sensory organs, standing in groups, demonstrating social behavior. Civilization. They looked like nothing Earth had produced, nothing evolution here had created. Truly alien, genuinely other. but also familiar somehow. The way they grouped, the way they oriented toward each other, the way they built structures visible in background. Recognizably intelligent behavior. Different form, but same essence. The main content was data about their world, their biology, their history, their technology, their understanding of the universe. They were sharing knowledge, teaching, explaining who they were. They had evolved from marine life, started in oceans, developed intelligence, emerged onto land, built civilization, discovered radio, developed spaceflight, and started broadcasting 847 years ago by their calendar. Hoping someone would hear, they'd detected no response until now, had been calling into the void for 847 years. No answer, no acknowledgement. Beginning to wonder if they were alone, if intelligence was rare, if they were the only minds in the galaxy. Then they'd detected our response, the signal we sent in January. It had just reached them. November 2026, exactly 127 years after leaving Earth. Traveling at light speed, arriving finally, being received, being understood, and they'd rejoiced. They weren't alone. Someone had heard. Someone had answered. Someone else existed. Intelligent, curious, reaching out. So they sent this message. Everything they thought we should know. Everything that mattered. Everything that might help us understand them. A gift, an introduction, an offering of friendship. The appendices contained more detail. Scientific data, biological information, cultural material, art, music, philosophy, mathematics. Everything that made them who they were. Shared freely, openly, hoping we'd understand. Hoping we'd respond with similar openness. Dr. Chen read through the translation for hours, absorbing, processing, understanding. These beings weren't hostile, weren't threatening, weren't anything to fear. They were curious, lonely, hopeful, reaching out desperately for connection, for confirmation that minds existed elsewhere, for friendship. We need to respond comprehensively, she told the team. Not just mathematical acknowledgement. Real response, sharing who we are, what we've learned, our biology, our history, our hopes. Everything they shared with us, we should share with them. The response took 3 months to prepare. Humanity's first comprehensive message to confirmed alien intelligence, images of Earth, of humans, of our cities, our technology, our art, our diversity, biological data, genetic information, history, science, everything that mattered, everything that made us who we were. The message was transmitted March 15, 2027. It would arrive at ExoMind 247 in 2154. They'd receive it, understand it, know us, and respond again. Message arriving back in 2281, 254 years from now. The conversation would continue, slowly, impossibly slowly, but continue nonetheless. And in the meantime, we'd keep searching, keep listening, keep finding. ExoMind was analyzing data from new telescopes, newer surveys, finding more worlds, more biosignatures, more signals. By 2030, the count was 312 worlds with confirmed biosignatures. By 2035, over 800. By 2040, more than 2,000. Life was everywhere, in every direction, every distance, every star system we looked at carefully. Biology emerging, evolving, thriving, filling the galaxy. And intelligence was common too. By 2040, we detected radio signals from 47 civilizations, all within 2,000 light-years, all broadcasting, all hoping to be heard, all lonely, all reaching out. Conversations began with all of them. Slow conversations, measured in centuries, but conversations nonetheless. Exchange of knowledge, culture, philosophy, science, minds meeting across the void, forming connections, building understanding, creating something new, a galactic community, bound not by proximity but by shared curiosity, shared wonder, shared hope. And it all started with an AI, An artificial intelligence that looked at data humans had collected and saw what we'd missed. 301 worlds initially, then thousands more, opening our eyes, showing us the truth we'd been blind to. We were never alone. The galaxy was full of life, full of minds, full of friends waiting to be found. We just needed to learn how to see them. And finally, we had. And the universe was infinitely more interesting, more diverse, more wonderful than we'd ever imagined. The age of isolation had ended. The age of connection had begun, and somewhere, 127 light-years away, beings we'd never met but now called friends were reading our message, learning about us, knowing us, and feeling, for the first time in 847 years of broadcasting, that they weren't alone either. Sleep now. Dream of alien worlds, of biospheres unlike any on Earth, of intelligences evolved under different stars, of messages traveling through the void, carrying hope, carrying friendship, carrying the simple truth that we're all part of something vast, something beautiful, something connected. The universe is full of life, full of minds, full of voices calling out, and we're learning to hear them all. Sweet dreams, citizen of a populated galaxy. Tomorrow you wake to a universe more alive than you ever knew. If this journey through 301 newly discovered worlds, 127 biospheres, and first contact with alien intelligence expanded your sense of wonder, hit subscribe. Every week, we explore the latest astronomical discoveries that reshape our understanding of our place in the cosmos. The universe is revealing its secrets. Don't miss what's found next.